Have an amazing update to share with you all today in terms of the renovation projects. Got the doors together. I'm going to show you how to turn a smaller budget in order for doors and make them look luxurious as if you spent like $1,000 plus on doors. Going to show you a sneak peek in terms of the electrical ambiance I wanted to create for the cabinets and the final output, which you have already seen. Before we dive into all that, I just want to share a quick market update. Interest rates did drop a bit. We had 6 3/8, which is amazing. 6 3/8 is not a big jump from 6.5 or 6 3/4. Gotta wait for the Feds to see what they do in the next meeting to see how the market reacts to it as well, because the market can't stand still. I really think they shouldn't drop interest rates anytime soon. My personal opinion, I think right now there's a lot of weakness within certain companies, organizations, even investors as well, that is being exposed because of the fact that they were doing irresponsible lending. To me, I look at it as if you don't see that you're having a certain output, but you're anticipating so much output and you getting greedy and just taking loans after loans because you have the capability to do so, eventually you'll burn out. So it definitely eliminates a lot of weakness in the markets when the interest rates stay at that high, because you now have to think 4, 5, 10 times before you actually go initiate that mortgage or that loan that you want to take, unless there's a justifiable reason where the numbers actually make sense for you. Another thing I want to tap into is the market. I wanted to look at Atlanta. Remember how I said if the numbers are 30% or more, you see there's 30% or more price reduction, then it's usually a start of indication that there's something going on in this market you need to look at. But let's see if that exists over there. So there's 4,500 homes right now listed. Price reductions, this is everything. 1,100. So we're about 25%. So we're not at a 30% mark yet. But let's break this down even further. So let's take off lots, condos. Let's just put homes, right? Take out apartments, take out manufacturers. So there's 2,700 homes, multifamily townhouses and houses. Price reduction, 874. So from 27 to 874, it's about a third. It is over 30%. So it's a beginning of a start of something there. But you know us, we're more about the investment side. So we're looking for like the multifamily. So I'm going to turn all these off right now. We got 74 multifamilies, not a whole lot compared to 2,700. That's low. I mean, but it's more family oriented, I guess that city is. Price reductions at 17. So it's not a whole lot. It's like a 5x. So that's 20% ratio. There's not a strong indicator there right now, but it shows a sneak peek of where things I think potentially are going to head. But diving into the doors right now, as you could see, we got them all lined up. I had to find a manufacturer that was close by. In New Jersey, there's a lot of warehouses, commercial people that are selling these products, and sometimes you can get them at a good discount. So I found a lumber company that actually sells these doors, and I was able to get them between 100 up to 150. They were already primed, so all I had to do was paint it. Paid my neighbor a couple $100 to paint all 12 doors. Then I had to find a good modern color that I can utilize. No one else to seek but my wife's counsel and advice on that. So she picked out this gray that you're seeing over there. What was in my head was to make this even more fancy, because I did this before. I put these silver linings, and you can get them from Amazon pretty cheap, like $20. And you got one roll that goes on one side. You could design it however you want. But in my head, I knew I wanted to make it on the side where the hinges are of the door, not where the door knob or lock is, but where the hinges are. Most designs you see online, it's on that side, but I don't think it looks good because the fact that the doorknob would block some of that silver lining across that goes up and down, and that's the direction that we chose to. You could do them across. My front main doors, I did them across. I put 3 lines separated. But for these, I wanted to go at the top because I felt like the indoor feeling looks better if it goes up across at the top. They're not in super perfect conditions. The one good thing you do get about doors that are already finished like that, there's nothing for you to do. It's already at that color. There's nothing peeling or anything like that. But if you wanted to save some money, this is the other way to approach. And I'm talking a lot of money, because one of these doors I purchased for indoor cost me $600 versus spending $125, let's say, dollars. And let's assume I've only used about, because I only bought 2 buckets of paint, around $40 each. So that's like $80. So about, let's say $10 for the paint, and then the materials you probably spend like another $15. I'm dividing it amongst the 12 to see what it pretty much cost per door. So you got 125 plus 10. Let's say another $20 for the materials. So you're looking at 150, and then I probably pay my neighbor another $30, let's say, for the door. So for $180, you pretty much got a modern door, including the labor and everything else. And this was including the delivery. They only charged me $50 for delivery of all the doors. So I just did it all, banged it all at once. So I saved quite a bit. It's under $200, so literally I saved over 66% of the cost, over 2/3 of the cost to get the doors looking that way.
First thing you want to do is ensure that we are making sure the metrics of the silver lining are symmetrical to all the other doors. I do this on the side that closes. I saw a lot of the examples online. They do it on the side where the handle is. To me, that doesn't look right because the handle is going to overlap and it kind of looks stupid. So it should really be on this side, I feel. So this must be my new invention, my new design. Hopefully I get a patent and award winning for it. But first thing that you want to do is mark the door. So I get my measuring tape and I'm doing 4 and 7 inches from the middle. So I take this 4 inches using the ruler, and you want to use a pencil. Like I'm using one of those point pencils from Paper Mate, but you can use any pencil to mark it because the silver lining should overlap. It should recover it. There shouldn't be a problem. So you take 4, mark here, and then you take 7, and you mark here. All right. Now you do the same thing. You don't need a whole lot of mark. This should be temporary anyway. But you do the same thing to the bottom. Just make sure you can see it. Because if not, it's going to be hard. Alright, so we got both sides. And we do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go on the other side and mark 4 and 7. Okay, now that we got all our markings done, now it's time to put the silver lining. Before you do that, one thing I strongly advise is to touch your paint. So meaning any little spots that you see in these touch-up, it's better that you do it now before you actually put the silver lining. This looks mostly okay, so I see maybe 1 or 2 spots. I'm going to do that real quick. I'll be right back with y'all. Alright, so what we're going to start off is at the top here. As you can see, I want this to go over just a little bit over at the top. Just a little bit, right, to make sure it's there. But I don't want to make it close all the way. So what you want to do is make sure the middle of the tape aligns to the middle of the place that you marked up. So that's one. Now we just bring this all the way down to where our mark is. And we want to pull down just a little bit. The pull down will just make it like flush. We messed that up. Let's do that again. This is not lost. This is not lost. So this happens. This is not lost progress at all. What you want to do is get the top back up first. Make sure that's there. Okay. This happens, this is how you untangle. So as you can see, mistakes does occur. But don't panic. And if it's alright, if it gets messed up, then you can just cut it, do another one. It's not a big deal. This roller tape is pretty cheap. I'm going to put the link in the description. Alright. Now we want this to align perfectly to the middle. And then you want to pass your hand in the bottom just slightly so this holds. Alright. Okay. So now what we want to do is flush, pass our hands through straight down. and we're going to come from the top. Make sure it smooths out. You want to make sure there's no air space inside of this at all. So we're pretty flush, bam. All right, so that covers one line, as you can see here. All right, now to get this bottom edge over the door, if you don't have enough gap underneath the door, what you got to do is kind of turn it, open the door this way, because you're going to slide it through underneath here and catch it on the other side. So make sure there's enough space for it to have like a pretty smooth transition. So you pull this out just slightly, roll it over, right? And then you put your tape underneath, slide it over, just enough. And now I'm going to come to the other side and catch that. Yeah, it's easy to get tangled up in there, so just make sure you're pulling your fingers across so you don't get sticky. Alright, cool. Alright, as you can see, we got it through, and you want to pull now and reflush this again, so to make sure the bottom edge goes through. And do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, so this is what our opposite side now looks like. What I'm going to do is pull this up. The bottom might get a little dirty, but you want to pull this all the way up to see where the black mark is. And then you can see it. There you go, now you can see it. So that pencil mark is where we want to be. Alright, now we could put this all the way down and go over it. And bam. And now we can cut this. I'm gonna need my second hand. You definitely want to make sure you use scissors and don't pull it, because it should look like a clean cut. And it's also going to help it not peel off. Because if one of these starts peeling off, it's not good. Alright. And just like the other side where we went top down, this time we're going to go bottom up. Because that's where we follow pretty much the direction of the tape. And there you go. Yep, if there's any air gap, just make sure you get it.
Felt really good about how this all came out. On camera, you can't tell the imperfections. It's very not noticeable.
All right, so this is what it looks like with the door lock. Different angles. As you can see. All right, we got modern and sleek, modern and sleek, modern and sleek.
Now, in terms of the electric, I wanted to make sure when you open these cabinet doors, there's some light. Nobody is doing that. The thing I want about this space is the ability for you to see a different output that you don't normally see, because I really think that creates that value to the space that you're not going to get anywhere else. So therefore, put some lighting here, which I'm going to go dive into right there.
Okay, we got cabinets up, down here, and up there. So to spice up the style, this is where we're going to add the lighting. So you got to picture this in your head before you actually do all this, map it out. And once I had put these cabinets aside, I had to sit back and be like, how do I want the lighting effect to really appear? You want it to be in a way where it's not visible and just the glare, the glow effect is appearing. So think about it. Up top, nobody can see up top. It glows down here unless you're short enough. You could see it. We can't do it up top. I really wanted to do it at the top, but we can't. But I could do it underneath this. So I'm going to run some strips all along these edges here to make it appear. It's going to go all around. And that's going to be one. And then the rest of it is going to go kind of like behind this thing over there on the other side. So it's really just imagining how it's going to glow but not visible.
and that's the trick to it. So that's what we're working on right now. So what I did was I installed two switches. One has constant power, and it's all connected from the light power, and one is controlled by a switch. So two switches here, right? One is to turn the lights on for this room that says dimmer, and then one is to flip the decorative lights on and off, and they're all connected to this one right here. So with the decorative lighting, it's this one on the left. When you flip the switch on, it'll turn on. When it's off, it's off. This one has constant power, and it's always one. So this is connected to this light here. So when you open the cabinet, you get this cool effect. I made an extra hole. I accidentally drilled into one of the beams. I didn't realize because I can't use the stud finder because there's a bunch of wood along the sides once you put all this in. So I really couldn't find it. So I'm just going to put like a white, you know, the furniture pads over this to cover this up. This hole, I was able to just use the outlet cover for that, and then we're good. But as you can see, it turns on by motion. So when you open this cabinet up, it does that. And I'm putting 1, 2, 3 more all down here as well. So when you open the cabinets, it actually, you got some lights in there. A little extra. Since I was running the decorative lighting, I figured I might as well do that. So I also have 2 outlets on right here as well. Oops. There you go. So one is decorative lighting, one is constant power. Constant power goes to the light that is motion censored, and the decorative lighting is a switch which will flip things on and off. And for this, decorative lighting is all just going to be underneath this. Can't see it, it's just gonna glow. So as you can see, I added some lighting inside, so it brings a different touch to the space that most people thinking about user experience. Again, if you need customer user experience, I'm your guy. My company, we do that for technology. But thinking about the user experience for people actually opening up cabinets, sometimes they can't see what's inside of there. That's the reason of us adding these lights in, making sure it's configured properly, and also gives a nice ambiance to the space. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found all this insightful. Like, share, subscribe to help this get out to other people. I look forward to catching you next time. Peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one.